Go! What's going on in Hot Atlanta? Live from Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 brings back the hottest hip-hop radio show live from K.L.P Entertainment and K.L.P Studios. It's K.L.P Aftermath. Morning with your host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas.
Mike man, what time is it?
It's swanky time with that new K.L.P.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to another exciting podcast. I'm your humble and gracious podcast host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas, right here in studio for y'all. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the K.L.P Aftermath Tuesday night live. Thank you guys who watching the live stream right now. And if you're somehow catching it on demand later on, we thank you guys. It is a wonderful, and I do mean this, guys. It's a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. November is here. We all know about it. We hope that everybody is having a great week so far. Next week, end of next week will be Thanksgiving. I'm very, very excited for Thanksgiving, right? It's the joyous time. A lot of people getting together. The family's getting together and we're having Thanksgiving. And we hope that you guys get ready for Thanksgiving. It's a holiday season. I'm still working on how I want to do the schedule for next week. Obviously, yes, we're going to be doing some podcasting this week. Next week might be a different story. I don't know yet. You guys got to give me some time to figure out what I want to do. Next week, typically when it's a holiday, I don't really like to work on holiday weeks because, especially when it's a big holiday, I don't like to really work because it's supposed to be a time where we're kind of, sort of relaxing a little bit and enjoying each other's company, enjoying the family company, and not really worrying so much about what we need to do media-wise. So we hope that you guys are ready for Thanksgiving week next week. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a glorious, glorious weekend. You guys know how we like to do when it's a Monday or Tuesday podcast. I like to let the people know what's going on over the weekend. Last Friday, we went to a football game. Douglasville versus Mill Creek Hawks. That was a very exciting time to put that in production, and it's been very, very fantastic to do all of those things and really have some good time. And then Saturday, I got to shout out to my family. Let me tell y'all. And I guess I can sort of talk about it here on the radio show tonight. My family. I spent time with my family. We went and we did a family photo shoot for Christmas. I can't wait until the edits get done. We can't really post anything about. We post about the behind the scenes on my story, but we can't really officially post anything because we're waiting on the edits. Very, very excited when you have a moment to where. So it's me and my family, my two brothers and my two sisters and my mom, her boyfriend, and her boyfriend Tony's daughter came along too, as well as Jake. I'm very nervous. Jake is shout out to Jake because he's been watching the show. He and my sister, they're engaged. I'll say that real quick. I don't like to put them out on blast, but I just gotta let people know who Jake is. So, but it's the whole family that is. Getting together to do, a family photo for Christmas. And I can't tell you guys how much family is so important to me. And I hope that everybody out there in the world understands and values the importance of having a family and having a family in your corner and being a great support for your family. So that's what I did this past Saturday. We showed up to the studio. We all dressed up really nice and black, and we just all smiles, and we just had a rocking great time taking photos. I can't wait to get the edits because me and my family photo, of course, is going to be sent to everybody. I'm going to buy one and then blow one up into a big frame and have it in my home office because I just love it that we're able to do something like that. I just don't think we've never done anything like that before. So I can't wait to get the edit so I can go take it to maybe Staples and get a big big painting version of it and get a frame and frame it up and put it up in my office. Something very memorable when it comes down to me and my family. And you'd be surprised, it's something my mom, shout out to you, Mom, something that my mom wanted for Christmas. We asked her, hey, Mom, what do you want for Christmas? Hey, Mom, what do you want for Christmas? Hey, Mom, what do you want for Christmas? That was her big Christmas gift that she wanted. I said, okay. We said, all right, that's what you want. We probably go, Mom, I'm going to buy you something else for Christmas for sure. Like, that's coming. But I was very, very excited to do that. And we just had a great time on Saturday. And then Sunday, we went to church. Shout out to Next Level Church. Shout out to Pastor Dion. That church is amazing. That's the church I go to every Sunday. And, we got the word in and, just going to church, reuniting with God again and talking to God again and say, hey, God, I know you're listening. I'm still praying to you and I still want to talk to you and want to be thankful for everything you've given us. Right. So, it was a very glorious weekend. I love weekends like that. And I was just talking to my little brother, and this week we are booked, with podcasting, and then we're going to film 2 basketball games on Thursday. Can't wait for that. The K.L.P Network, Kennedy Lucas Associates, will be streaming and broadcasting again for Thursday, and then Friday we're going to be at North Gwinnett High to film and stream another football game. So booked and busy, and then Saturday. I got to see what's going on Saturday. I feel like I got something pressing going on Saturday. But that's booked and busy for the weekend. And then, of course, Wednesday, my good friend Evelyn Letitia, What Happened Was podcast, we're going to be coming back for sure. I know a lot of people missed it last week. Last week was Evelyn's birthday, so I told her, hey, take the time off. We can pod on another go round. So we can pod whenever you're back from your birthday celebration. I don't want you to come to work on your birthday. That's a big no-no for me because I don't work on my birthday. So that's glorious weekend, ladies and gentlemen. We hope that you guys are ready for it. More in K.L.P Entertainment news, I guess. Podcasting, filming as currently. We are just about wrapped up on my new film called Syndicate. And I wanted to announce that because Syndicate, as somebody's at my front door at the house, Syndicate is a new sci-fi movie that we're going to have released in 2025. Just wait for it, guys, because we are going to be doing another keynote developers conference this December to talk about 2 new films. Rather, it's Syndicate and then Street Style Back in the A. We're going to be talking about those 2 movies in particular with our December developers conference here at K.L.P Entertainment. So the movie's coming, so I can give you guys behind the scenes of the movie. You just gotta wait for it. I don't want to. I'm geeked about it, but I don't want to give you guys so much. You don't want to give the story away on this podcast. So December is a great month as we get on to the gaming news. The Game Awards. We have our nominations getting released out. I'm going to do also a separate video to do a behind the scenes in my nominations for the Game Awards. So stay tuned for that special episode, a special podcast. But yeah, the Game Awards is here. I'm very, very excited because the Game Awards is something that I look forward to the most. Back in June and July, we did the Podcadio World Series when there were video game conferences and whatnot that happened. We streamed right there in the studio, and we did a really good job with the World Series, the little segment there. We're going to be bringing that also back again with our predictions for the Game Award nominations. They're available right now. Not a sponsor to the Game Awards or Jeff Keighley, but shout out to him. 10 years. December 12th, we'll celebrate 10 years of the Game Awards, and I'm very, very excited because the Game Awards is something that's very interesting because now you get to see all of the shows get their spotlight. A lot of shows will get a lot of gaming developers and game companies get their spotlights to celebrate great year of games. I think we had an awesome year of games. I can't wait for 2025 because we got some more new games coming out. But this year alone, we've had just a meaty part when it comes down to gaming. And it gets very exciting for us podcasters, us journalists, and us writers because we've bought so many great games, right? Down from Black Myth Wukong to Dragon Ball Z to Black Ops 6 down to Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, right? Mario Party Jamboree was another great one. Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero was another great one, right? So we've just had so many great outlets when it comes to video games this year. I get very excited about it because I like to see game developers win awards. I like to see voice actors and actresses win awards for their great work. I like to see like music people that worked on the music of the video game, they get their awards every year, and it gets me very excited. Jeff Keighley still doing his thing, and he's doing it really, really well. So I'm just so blown about how far the Game Awards came. Everybody's talking about the Game Awards, and I'm very excited to see who are going to be the winners. Again, stay tuned later on this week because we're going to do a special podcast where we're going to be voting. I'm going to be voting my top nominations. And just to see another good treat that we get, y'all, is that every year at the Game Awards, it's almost like an E3 conference, right? At the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley is smart about this. At the Game Awards, we get to see world premiere of games that are coming up next. Very, very stoked about it because when the Game Awards is happening, they announce a game that no one knew about, no one hears about. Right. And then they announce it at the Game Awards to get not only viewers to tune in, but to get more people rocking with the best of video game coverage and all of the content that they have going with it. So I'm super, super pumped. I'm thankful for a lot of stuff. I'm thankful for us being able to, cover the Game Awards December 12th. And we'll be doing it. And we're going to be streaming it too. We're going to be recording and streaming our reactions to the Game Awards on December 12th. So very, very excited for that. Congratulations to the Game Awards. I'm very, very excited to see the nominations. Again, stay tuned later on for a special podcast as we dabble more into our top nominations when it comes down to the Game Awards. So shout out to the Game Awards. Speaking of gaming, of course, Fortnite releases an Ice Spice skin for the game. Of course, Fortnite has been kicking around it for sure. Now, Ice Spice, you could be Ice Spice as a character in the game Fortnite. And I just kind of wanted to I'm not gross. I'm just going to say that I'm not gross and not a pervert. But these things as analysts and podcasts, I look into it. So you guys can see it on Fortnite's Instagram. And the character development looks good. I mean, I would prefer her to have her little afro as her style because when she came out, she had the afro, small little afro more than she did the long hair. But she looks great. I mean, she looks taller. It's a video game character, right? But the one thing I wanted to pick at, why they made her butt so big. And I'm not gross, but from anybody who is peeping a girl, because we do, there's an expression that says, "Booty so big you can see it from the front." Right? Again, I'm not a pervert. I'm not anything weird about it, but it's such a true saying. Booty so big you can see it from the front. So she's dancing, the character that is, Ice Spice character's dancing, and you could clearly see that they made her butt big because you can see the cheeks from the front of the character. And it's like, whoa, how did they do that? I mean, I get it. I mean, Ice Spice, she got a lot of junk in the trunk, right? She's Ice Spice, she's hip hop, right? So, that's the expectation. She's losing weight though. So it's good to see people losing weight nowadays. But I wanted to pick on that because it's like, did they do that intentionally? Right? Because really, when you are a video game and you're developing a hip hop artist, you kind of have to be careful, right? Because it's all about imaging, right? You're never going to see, unfortunately, a rapper who grew up on the other side of the tracks and they're just so hood and so hard. It's hard to get them in video games like Fortnite simply because you got a lot of young kids playing these type of games, right? You even got 5-year-olds playing Fortnite. Believe it or not, 5-year-olds, 4-year-olds are playing Fortnite, which is crazy to me, T, because when I was 5, I wasn't playing video games. When I was 5, I was playing with toys, right? But times are changed. A 3-year-old wants an iPad for Christmas this year. They don't want toys. So you got to be careful about the imaging of the characters that you see out there in the light and you see that they're doing their thing. But again, booty so big you can see it from the front. Is what, because you can clearly see it. But I do applaud. I mean, it's a lot of money. Ice Spice has a lot of money behind her. So I understand why Fortnite say, hey, we need to get this, right? Because Fortnite developed Eminem in Fortnite. They developed Travis Scott in Fortnite in the past. So now is her turn. I do think it is dope, though. Now I'm picking on this. I do think it is dope that celebrities and rappers and artists, influential people get to be in a video game. I want to be in a video game one day because I think it's really cool to see your image, to see your character, to see your likeness playable in a video game. I also understand how, like, for an example, NBA stars or football stars or even WWE stars, when their video games come out, it's so surreal that, hey, I'm in a video game. That's me in a video game. I can play myself. Pause. I could play myself in a video game, right? So it's so surreal, but I think maybe they did that intentionally. You got to really think about it, like who's sculpting this character, this video game character of Ice Spice in this game. Did they go in the studio and say, they say, hey, no, her butt's not big enough. We need to make her butt a little bit bigger. Right? I always wonder that. I always wonder how they come up with the idea of the body sculpting of these artists who have a sort of certain physique in terms of their body stature for hip hop and artists. But congratulations to Ice Spice. The video is available on Fortnite's Instagram. I peeped it. Boy, howdy did I peep it. Another thing that I peeped, y'all seen that Tyson and Jake Paul match a couple days ago? Shout out to both of them. And I say shout out to both of them. Yeah, they made some money. So if you guys don't know, I know I might be a couple days late because we're streaming right now on Tuesday. Everybody's been talking about Tyson and Paul's match, but it's my turn to talk about it. I wanted to give my thoughts on that. You know, I watched glimpses and clips of Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. They were at the AT&T Stadium, if I'm not mistaken, back on Saturday, one of them days, for the big match. And my thoughts about it is, and I wanted to wait until other podcasters had their thoughts out, because it's like yay and nay for me, y'all. And what I'm about to say is, a lot of people thought that the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul match was kind of a little scripted, like they're kind of WWEing it. First off, I want to say, even though some parts of WWE is scripted, the actual action is for real. I've been to a lot of events and I see them up close and personal. That is a real chair shot. That's a real punch. That's a real shot upon superstar versus superstar, wrestler versus wrestler, right? So I can't understand when people say, oh, wrestling's fake. It is a script to a certain degree, but it's entertainment and they're really pummeling each other, right? For real. Jake Paul is my age of 28, if I'm not mistaken. And I think they said Mike Tyson was 60. The last podcast, I gave you guys my bet. And boy, howdy did some of the studio people here in K.L.P, boy, howdy did we lose some money. Because we betted on Mike Tyson. I did. And the reason why I betted on Mike Tyson is because not only that he is 60 years old, but I honestly got to think, based off his social media and his training videos, I honestly think that he was in the better shape than he was back in the day. He's more bronder, he's more bulkier, right? And when he's been doing this thing for 20 plus years now, he has the what is it? He has more of the I don't want to say attention span, but like the and it's not PTSD, but like the I'm blanking out what the word is, but like he has, like, it's engraved in his brain, right? It's engraved on his brain, and he's been doing it for a while, so now it's kind of like on reaction, right? So he knows the punches and on the blows that he would do, right? It's all normal because he's been doing it. I've said that same thing last week. I think watching glimpses and pieces of this match, they gave us a show. not to discredit Mike Tyson because I think he is still dangerous. Some people might say he's more dangerous now than he was back in the day. I agree. If I ever meet a Mike Tyson or a Floyd Mayweather, I best believe I'm going to watch what I say because I'm a boxer to a certain extent. I box at the gym. That's the most that I do in boxing, right? I'm not a professional boxer, a professional MMA fighter, or a professional UFC fighter. I am just boxing in the gym. So if I ever meet a Mike Tyson in the street and I try to mess with him, no, because that's my ass on the grass, right? But I can kind of see why some people might say they scripted some of this. And some people might say that they knew that Mike Tyson was going to lose. It's almost like, and this was a good analogy that, who put it? Ice put it on the Joe Budden podcast. Shout out to them. But I listened to the Joe Budden podcast, and Ice, I think it was Ice or Ish, one of them two, they said, and it makes sense, when they watch WWE, you're putting somebody over, right? And that is true in WWE standards when a veteran or legend or Hall of Famer who has been wrestling, but then he loses to the next big thing. Hey, I'm trying to throw you over because you're the next generation. That part is a good analysis, and that part kind of makes sense in my opinion because Mike Tyson is one of the greatest fighters of all time alongside with Muhammad Ali. Now he's putting Jake Paul over because Jake Paul is the next thing in boxing, right? And it's so true. Besides him and John Jones, which is another incredible fighter, he won his belt this past weekend. I think he won at UFC 309 this past Saturday in New York, right? Congratulations to John Jones. Saw glimpses and pieces of that match too. He whooped some ass, and it was rightfully earned, y'all. But Mike Tyson, yeah, he probably is taking Jake Paul over. There's so much money to be had in this match, and I'll be honest. If somebody paid me $40 million to get a knockout or to get punched, long as it is not life-threatening, I'm going to take that punch. If I'm going against a Jake Paul and my contract say, hey, you don't have to win, you don't have to lose, but we're going to give you $40 million guaranteed if you just get in the ring with Jake Paul. I'm like, Jake Paul, you going to whoop my ass, but I'm in it for $40 million. Let's go. Ding. Pow. Oh, I'm out. And then I'm like, where's my $40 million? All hurt, black eye, bleeding, I'll do it for $40 million. Mike Tyson, my analogy there, Mike Tyson, rumor, again, because I ain't pocket watching y'all, but rumor been saying, hey, $40 million for Mike Tyson for just this fight. Win or lose, you still get $40 million. Mike Tyson got his $40 million guaranteed because of this fight. I do think he did train, right? It wasn't bullshit. He actually trained. He trained well enough for this, for this fight. I applaud both men. Honestly, whatever people say about Jake Paul is this next generation of fighting in UFC. They're the next generation within him and all the newcomers that come around. But Jake Paul is in that younger crowd, 28. They're the next generation of boxing because Mike Tyson feels that, hey, I made a lot of money. I don't have to fight anymore. Right. And a lot of people were concerned about Mike Tyson's head health. And it kind of makes sense because I watched this other video of a doctor. I think he was a neuro doctor. So neuro dealing with the brain, which makes sense because I dabble in the medical space too. So it makes sense to me too. As we get older, our brains shrink. Not significantly, unless you have some sort of unfortunate disease, but your brain does shrink as you get older. So that's why you become more fragile, right? They show to where they had like a little play skull with a brain where the brain is fully filled in within that skull. That is your brain of your Jake Paul. So if Jake Paul takes a punch, he can take it because he's young, right? We're all young, 28, that's young. You got Mike Tyson, who is 60 years old, to where maybe his brain might have shrink because he's getting a little bit older. And when he's taking a punch, it's going to rattle around your skull, causing it to bump all over the place inside your skull, causing brain damage or brain bleed, right? So a lot of people, doctors was concerned about this match because, when you get too many blows to the head, your brain kind of acts a little funny, right? So that's why there's a lot of headgear in some sports, and a lot of, especially when you ride a motorcycle, your brain and your head is one of the most vital parts of your body is your brain and then your heart, right? So a lot of people were concerned about Mike Tyson when it came down to it, T. And it makes sense. It makes sense that, these doctors were concerned. I am glad that Mike Tyson came out of this match and with respect. A lot of people say they're going to draw this series out. Even though Jake Paul won against Tyson, I think it's going to be a series, right? There's too much money to be made in UFC 309 and MMA. Too much money is being made. Too much of it. Right? To where we might see a Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson #2, where Tyson gets his lick back. Then that's the script part, right? Right? It's like, okay, Jake, you win this one. Tyson's going to win the next one. And then who will win the #3? And as the numbers climb in money, it's going to climb. If Jake Paul and Mike Tyson do a part 2, that money might be better than part 1. Right? To where a lot of people might say, okay, I don't know if I want to bet on Mike Tyson because he lost the match last time. So I don't know how we going to feel about it. But then what if Tyson wins the second fight? Now your score 1-1. You got to do a part 3. You can't leave it a 1-1 victory between each other. There's going to be a part 3. Again, so much money is being made for this. I'm here for it. I'm not big into UFC and MMA. I don't watch that stuff in person. I just watch on social media clips of it, but I just cannot. Some of my friends like that stuff. I don't. I like WWE because even though they're fighting each other and pummeling each other, it's different, right? It's entertainment. It's different. But like I say, congratulations to both Mike Tyson and Logan Paul. Tyson had his ass out, by the way. Tyson had his ass out. There was a thing that surfaced, I guess his shorts ripped and his whole ass was just out. So everybody's been doing that. There's been memes of that. My big brother did a meme of the Falcons logo on Tyson's ass because they got destroyed by the Denver Broncos last night or Sunday night. So yeah, I think Falcons are still doing good. Honestly, Falcons, I think they're doing good. But, man, they lost to the Broncos. But Broncos is a good team, too, right? So, pressure's on. So, speaking more on ass out, there's a company that's going to be ass out very soon as I segue over to the next segment here. Spirit. Shout out to Spirit. Spirit Airlines officially files for bankruptcy protection. I kind of knew that this was going now. Spirit Airlines has been discussed as possible filing for bankruptcy, and on yesterday, the airline announced that it's officially filed. I can't knock so much on Spirit because when I was first coming out to travel, I flew Spirit, right? I think we all have flew Spirit at some point. Spirit used to be a good airline. Now, I'm not trying to sound bougie on the show, but I got to say, once you fly Delta, you don't want to fly anything else. And obviously, we're live and here from Atlanta. We're in Atlanta. So, of course, Delta is the one you want to take if you're from Atlanta. Now, I give Delta credit. You going to pay that premium for Delta. But I flew Delta quite a few times this year alone because the travel is good. The customer service is amazing. The check-in policy and process is fast and easy. I never flew I have flown first class with Delta one time, but we still go on the economy side of Delta because their seats they're comfortable. You get a TV right in front of you, right? You get to watch movies for free. Right? You're paying for that luxury. You're paying for all of that within that Delta price. And I got to say, again, not trying to sound bougie, but when you fly Delta, you do not want to fly anything else, T. You don't. I think Southwest is the second runner up. Southwest is also a good airline to where, it's a secondary to Delta. It's a little bit cheaper, right? But I would fly that if I'm doing like a 2-hour flight, 1-hour flight. Okay, let's just do Southwest, right? When I went to Vegas and Puerto Rico this year, Delta, because those are longer flights, right? We're going to pay for that premium, right? And luckily, when I went to Vegas, I went with my brothers and sisters, so we all compiled our funding together. That trip was so much fun, by the way. I love it. And then when we went to Puerto Rico, I went with a great group of my friends. So we all shared funding to fund our flights, right? We put it in the pot and make sure we got some out of it, right? Spirit lost its luster when they canceled flights left and right. I think Spirit lost their luster when I saw this video. This was back in July, to where there was a Spirit flight to where the AC was not working, and it's smack middle of July. So the plane, when you're encapsulated in a flying thing for hours, not much air is circulating. So a lot of people were hot and sweaty. Most people on that flight was passed out because there's no air in there, right? That's a big no-no. Big no-no. If you're on an airplane on a couple of hour flight and you got no AC, and let me tell you, people musty. People are musty out there in this world. I tell my friends this too, because this happened. This was a Delta flight, and Delta had air AC, but to the point of me saying that people are musty, I sat next to this woman and her husband, and she smelled like she forgot a whole thing of deodorant, right? I smelt it. I'm like, oh God, she stinks. She smells musty. She smells like wet dog. Where is the deodorant? Right? And then like she was sleeping on her husband. I'm just like, oh God. And luckily I had AC because the AC helped. But I'm like, whoa, lady, you need some degree. Or I don't want to say Old Spice, but hey, women can rock whatever type of deodorant. You need some degree or some Dove deodorant because you musty, right? Put some deodorant on. So I can only imagine being on the Spirit flight with no AC, and you're sitting in slab dab in the middle of summer, people who don't have great hygiene, people forget how to bathe, right? People forget how to put on deodorant, and now they smelling like musty, crusty, dusty, and you're forced to sit with that person that smell like shit. I don't understand it, but that's kind of the outlook of how Spirit kind of went out of business. And you know, you might be paying $70 for a flight, but then you don't get the great customer service. I've seen it also on Facebook and TikTok to where the customer service in itself haven't been the greatest, right? They're fed up with it. They don't get paid enough to deal with customers. That part I understand because I worked in customer service too, and sometimes you're going to get those Karens, right? You're going to get those Karens that try to think they're better than you because you work at an airline, right? So I get that part. So a lot of people say, bunk this, I'm going to Delta. I'm working for Delta. Because I know that they're going to treat us with respect as employees, and you might deal with some customers, but anything with any job really, whether it's airline or anything, with customer service, sometimes you're going to get those Karens and those Kens, right? That's just, you're going to get those people. No matter what job you work at, you're going to get those people because people are people, right? That's when I think Spirit Airline kind of, they've ran out of business. They ran out of that luster simply because the motivation's not there anymore, right? That's why people are finding ways to make more money to buy a more premium plane ticket with Delta because the service is just better, right? You don't have it to where the engine's shutting down or there's another thing. This happened years back where there was on a Spirit flight and one of the engines went down. One of the engine fans went down and they had emergency landing and that was unsmooth, right? So I get it. I think there was supposed to be a merger, I think it was Spirit and I don't know if it was Spirit and Frontier or Spirit and JetBlue. One of them, Spirit was supposed to merge with somebody and the merger didn't go through. So that was another thing that allowed Spirit Airlines to file for bankruptcy now because when you're losing so much money and you don't find a merger, then you stuck by yourself. Now you're trying to find ways to survive, right? And when you're finding ways to survive, and if you ain't got it and you ain't appealing to that merger, you're going to go out of business. And that was kind of to me, based off what I seen in the news, guys, I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back was not for Spirit not having that merger done because we all knew about it. And I have a lot of people were talking about it and they say, hey, this might save Spirit's revenue and profits, but this merger didn't go through. So now they're forced to fend for themselves, and now look at it. Now it's going out of business. And then a lot of people, like I say, a lot of people don't want to work for Spirit, right? You know, when some people don't want to apply for a certain job, either they don't want to apply for a certain job or they quit working for Spirit, then they lose employees, and it's hard to do that, and the retention is high. You never really want to be in a job where retention is too high. Trust me, I've been in quite a few jobs where retention is just too high, and dumb me didn't know the ramifications of high retention. For all of you guys who don't know what high retention is too many people quitting. Too many people getting hired, and too many of them are quitting the next day. That's high retention. So we hope that Spirit makes it through, really. I mean, you know, I don't want to say shout out. Shout out to Spirit, really. Because, again, when I first started to fly a plane, I can't say Spirit was my first plane. My first plane I rode was a Delta plane, right? But during my college days, you know, when you're in college and you're saving up money, but you want to go on a trip, Spirit. Now it's all about Delta for me. I've flown Frontier. Frontier's not bad, right? I would choose Southwest over Frontier. Southwest is not bad, but I would choose Delta over Southwest, if that makes sense. Yeah, so shout out to them. Speaking of shout outs, congratulations to Megan Good and Jonathan Majors. See? You want to know what they did? They engaged. I got to say congratulations. I think this is what Jonathan Majors need. A lot of people, look at me being messy. A lot of people, though, saying that this is part of their planned tactic. I don't think so, y'all. I think they're very much in love. Honestly, I think Megan Good, and hopefully I'm not wrong a few months back, and I had to come back in the radio station and say, hey guys, I was wrong. I think Megan Good for Jonathan Majors is not only a great look, but this is how he finds his match. He's trying to fix himself as an actor and as a person. And I got to say that this is not only a great look, but I think this is what Jonathan Major needs. It's unfortunate that his last girlfriend didn't work out, right? A lot of people joke and say, well, that's what Jonathan Majors get for dating a white woman. I disagree with that. You like what you like, right? We're not going to be judgy, because a lot of people get mad when, for men and women, but I'll say this: women, some women would get mad when we go for the white girls, right? And some dudes will also get mad when the black girl goes for the white dudes. I don't know how that is, but now that I'm understanding a little bit more, I know that I'm not going to be super judgy. It doesn't matter if she's black, white, purple, green, blue. You like what you like. Jonathan Majors was in love with his ex-girlfriend, who was white. Now, was she crazy? Hell yeah. But not all white people are crazy, right? So this is a great look for Jonathan Majors. I'm happy for the man. Honestly, I do want to see Jonathan Majors come back as an actor. Like, I think it was very unjustly pivoted towards him to where things got stripped away from him from this little incident, right? Regardless of what happened, right? We don't really know what happened. There's allegations that he assaulted a woman. We don't know that yet, right? It's been courts, it's been trial. We don't know what happened. Only Jonathan Majors knows what happened, right? So I try not to judge people. I try not to aim at them so harshly because I don't want to do that. But I'm very, very happy that he found his match. I'm happy that he found his love. I'm happy that he was able to find what he find when it come down to it. And it gets me very excited to see the hope for Jonathan Majors. I think as an actor, and I'm always going to keep saying on every show, I think Jonathan Majors will come back as an actor. He's going to come back striving and being excellent. It's going to take him a little time. He's probably going to do a Hallmark movie and a Lifetime movie, but That's how he gets back into the limelight of Hollywood. But he's kind of already Hollywood still, right? Him and Making Good, everything that they do so far. He's going to all these different types of, I don't want to say odd, but all these different types of award shows and speaking shows for an appearance. It's playing the game, right? He's trying to get back into Hollywood, playing that game and getting back into it. But he probably found his match, right? True love is true love. Because some people say, hey, they're not really in love. It's all part of a plan. I beg to differ. I think a little different. I think they really love each other. And it took him to go through something traumatic like this incident to find the one that he's in love with. Now, let's remind everybody, Megan Good was married to I want to say a pastor. I forgot the pastor's name. But they ended up going through a divorce. So maybe that could have been her trauma moment. That could have been her traumatic moment. And now Jonathan Majors with his ex-girlfriend, and he got alleged of assaulting a woman, and now he's getting Hollywood stripped away from him. That's his moment, right? I am a firm believer that couples find each other when they've been through something. And by Heidi, that's the kind of girlfriend I want to meet one day. I want a girl that's not only know how to work hard and pay bills and be independent, but you've been through something. Because boy, howdy, I've been through something in my life. I've been through a lot. Not even in the past late last year or two. I've been in a lot of good stuff, but I've been through some bad stuff too. I've been through some stuff. And I'm a firm believer that when I find my match, she probably has been through something, and that's when you fall in love, because you've embraced that you both had some trauma. And that's the same thing with Megan Good and Jonathan Majors. They both been through something to where now they are madly in love, and now they're engaged. Like I say, I'm happy for him. I'm so happy for him. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Very much here for it. Now, I wanted to kind of do an elephant of the room. We do have Edie in the studio. She's going to give us our latest in hip hop news more. But I wanted to talk about this too. School release statement after mother says her 7-year-old son was found unconscious in school bathroom after being hung by a 4th grader. Let me tell y'all something. All of you grade school teachers and principals, first off, shout out to y'all because y'all work too hard. Y'all work too hard. Y'all work too hard to deal with these little kids and don't get paid enough. I'm with y'all with that one. And that's not only for teachers, it's also for professors in colleges too. I've seen it. But some of y'all grade schools, y'all got to be careful. How in the world a 7-year-old student was found unconscious in a school bathroom, after being hung by a 4th grader? I say this with respect that a lot of teachers, they go through a lot. They do. They go through a lot. They don't get paid enough. I'm here with that. And I'm taking a deep breath because there's a but to it. Some teachers, being that they don't get paid enough, stop caring. They stop caring. They come to work just to say, hey, I'm here. And I say some teachers because not all. Some teachers come to work and say, hey, I need this little paycheck because I can't do anything else. So this is the only thing I got to do. I'm here for the paycheck. I think if you are not motivated to be a teacher, whether it's a teacher, principal, counselor, director, professor, dean, if you're not here for your why, which is serving the community and serving these students, you're just here to pick up a paycheck, this job is not for you. Go do DoorDash. Because it makes me angry every time. It makes me angry every time that on the news I see something going wrong with a school, because we already know what schools are doing, right? We have to prevail from these type of incidents, because what I smell from this, a mother found her 7-year-old kid unconscious because a 4th grader hung that student. I smell a lawsuit. I smell a $5 million lawsuit because certain teachers out here in this world stop caring. They stop caring. And it's not going to be funny. We all know who won president for 47th president. This man's talking about eradicating Board of Education. Not trying to get political, but if your Board of Education's gone, bye-bye school, bye-bye job. And we're just some schools where there's a school shooting, or some schools where a 7-year-old is unconscious, very young to be unconscious, because teachers not watching these students, you're proving them right. You're proving them right that, hey, let's just eradicate Board of Education because these teachers don't give a. Almost cussed there, T. They don't care. Some teachers do. Now, I'm not a parent. I don't plan on being a parent. But I can kind of feel for this mom possibly being angry because not we as in me, but human beings, we send kids to school for education. It's education, but it's kind of like a daycare too, kind of. But education, and to know there's a place that they can go to get educated, put down the video games, put down the smartphones, go get your education today, and you learn something. And we're sending, not me, but parents are sending their kids off to school knowing and praying that they're safe at school. But we're at this point now in this generation to where there's too many school shootings. There's too many bullying. There's too many teachers not giving a damn. So now parents feel unease. That's why you have a lot of parents going to private school, which is private school is expensive. It's not cheap. You won't get it for free. Parents are taking their kids to private school or they're homeschooling their kids because they fear for that student's safety because these teachers are not watching their kids, their students. It is crazy. It blows my mind. A 4th grader is hung a 7-year-old. Where did he learn that? Right now, this is the part where I'm turning away from the teachers, T, because now sometimes I gotta blame the parents on some of this stuff. We all at fault, not me, because again, I ain't no parent, but I'm gonna turn it on the parents now. This kid, 4th grader, hung a 7-year-old. Where do you learn that as a 4th grader? You best believe back in my day, if I did some crap like this, I'm getting a whooping. My video games is getting taken away from me and I'm grounded for 2 months. And I'm getting screamed at by my parents. When I was a kid, I did some stuff like this. That's what I would get. Again, this is where I'm turning away from teachers a little bit. And then I'm talking to the parents now. I'm not talking to all parents, but this is the type of shit that I'm seeing now. Parents nowadays, I'm seeing them very young. Young parents don't know how to punish their kids. Parents these days are not censoring what these kids are getting exposed to on TikTok, Facebook, video games. They're not censoring this stuff, causing them to have this behavior. So when a student's doing that, I blame the parents, right? Again, I say very softly because I am not a parent, but young parents don't know how to train and to educate and to home train their kids. Right? To where a 4th grader is doing this type of shit, and now they're going to school portraying and thinking that this is okay. And to take it a step further, when the student get called on doing some troubling like this, the parent comes and they don't punish the kid. They say, don't do it again. Right? Causing teachers to say, okay, well, if you're not going to punish your kid and know how to raise your kid, I'm done being a teacher because this is not a daycare. Right? I think people in America and all over the world, we got to do better. We as in them, because again, I'm not a parent, so I can't really contest too much to this, but parents and teachers have to do better. You have to do better. Because a 4th grader should not know how to hang people. You should know how to do that as a 4th grader. If you learn how to do that, you learn it from a video game, you're learning from social media, or you're probably seeing your parents do it. Shame on the parents if you're exposing your kid like that. You shouldn't be a parent, in my opinion. Same thing with my teachers. Teachers out there, because there are some good parents, there are some good teachers. Teachers, be aware of what your students are doing. Because how is this able to happen? How are you able to have it to where this happened in a bathroom? When I was in grade school, we had a teacher, we had two teachers, and I agree with this. They had two teachers, right? They had a female teacher and a male teacher. Nowadays, I don't know how it works for different types of genders, like they and them. I don't know how that works in grade school now, but back in my day, we had the male teacher would monitor the bathroom when it's bathroom time, grade school and middle school, right? And then you had a female teacher to go into the women's bathroom, kind of monitor what's going on in the bathroom, people go into the bathroom on bathroom break time. And then they had a teacher on the outside to watch those teachers just to make sure, just be on the safe side, right? As a witness, right? That's how that did it back in my school back in the day. And I remember there was a guy named Mr. Miller, right? Had to be careful. Like, you would go to the bathroom, then when you're washing your hands, you get a 15-second counter. And you're supposed to get one paper towel. You don't need a whole bunch of paper towel, right? Smart system, right? Because you're monitoring the kids in the bathroom while they go to the bathroom. Now, today, I don't know how it is today. Politics and all of the policies might have changed, but the fact that we're not watching our kids, not necessarily, not watching them at a bathroom. I'm not saying go watch them pee, like that's weird, right? But like, come on, right? You're not monitoring these kids, and kids bullying another kid and having a 7-year-old unconscious. For the mother of that kid, I smell a $5 million lawsuit from the Board of Education of that county. That's what I smell. I smell a $5 million lawsuit, right? That's what I smell. And then the kid that hung the 7-year-old, that's a lawsuit on that family, right? Because when you're knocked unconscious, that's very scary. You could die. That kid could have died from that. Luckily, he was unconscious. He woke up. But when you go on unconscious, that's almost like a coma, right? You can die from it. You can never wake up from it. You got to be careful. It's crazy. It's crazy that we see what we see now. It gets me upset. And then people want to whine about the Board of Education and teachers because teachers don't care. And same thing with the teachers complaining about the parents because parents don't know how to punish their kids when they know they've done something super wrong. It's a mess. And I think both parties got to do better for that Board of Education, or we're not going to have a Board of Education, right? Because teachers are going to stop caring. They're not going to give a damn anymore. They're going to start just getting that little check, right? And it's sad to say little because they don't get paid as much as they should. I agree. But they get a little check and they have to do something on the side as a side hustle. Then they're going to say, bunk this. I'm done being a teacher. There's no benefit for me. And then they might look to parents. Parents don't punish their kids, so I'm done. This is not a day. I'm not a daycare, right? Same thing with the parents and the vice versa side. When the teachers stop caring, they say, okay, well, these teachers at the school don't care. Okay, baby Jimmy John, we're taking you to private school. Or we're going to homeschool you because we feel for your safety. Because we don't know what you do at school while we're out at work hustling. Teachers are not looking out for you. So I don't know what you're doing at school. It's a mess. It's a mess. We got to do better. All right, we got ED real quick with the last minute news here today. What's going on, ED?
Young Thug may be out of jail, but that does not mean the end of his legal problems, as he has been sued for allegedly wrongfully receiving millions of dollars. According to All Hip Hop, the Atlanta rapper, real name Jeffrey Williams, is being sued by music giant AEG and Shit's Entertainment Group for allegedly signing a publishing deal in 2021 with Cobalt Music worth $16 million, despite AEG claiming they had already secured the rights to Thug's music. AEG argued that Thugger signed a deal with them in 2017, which saw him receive a $5.25 million loan. After failing to pay the money back, they claim he relinquished the copyright to his publishing to the company. As part of Thug's default on the loan, AEG also argued that they received the rights to promote the YSL Leaders live shows. AEG took legal action after Thug sold his publishing in 2021. However, proceedings were paused after the rapper was arrested as part of the high-profile RICO case against his YSL collective. Now that Thug is out of jail, AEG are seeking the initial $5.25 million loan repayment plus interest, as well as any money the rapper made from his deal with Cobalt. AEG previously sued Young Thug in 2022 for almost $6 million for breach of contract. The company claimed even with the rights to Thug's concerts, he continued booking shows on the side for hundreds of thousands of dollars in performance fees. Despite having granted AEG the exclusive right to promote Mr. Williams' concert performances under the terms of the 2017 artist agreement, YSL and Mr. Williams immediately failed and refused to honor their respective obligations under the 2017 artist agreement by, among other things, disregarding AEG's rights, performing concerts without AEG's involvement, and retaining all proceeds generated therefrom, AEG lawyer Kathleen Jory said at the time. The company also claimed that Thug put up some of his intellectual property rights as collateral in the agreement. Subsequently, AEG argued they have the right to take control of the Young Stoner Life brands, portions of his publishing catalog, and the Young Thug trademark. Young Thug has yet to respond to the lawsuit and the claims within. It is also not known if this lawsuit will have any impact on his lengthy probation.
Thank you so much, Edie. Of course, y'all, we're going to wrap up the podcast here today. We hope that you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did. Sorry I had to get in my little rant earlier. I just was feeling it. But yeah, stay tuned later this week, guys. We've got, by the time we had the Spectrum podcast episode out and released. So guys, check that latest episode out. And then look forward to What Happened Was podcasts between Wednesday or Thursday. And then we're shutting it down early this week because, again, we've got to do some basketball games and we have a football game that we have to stream on Thursday and Friday. And I think I got something to do on Saturday too. So we're busy all around. But guys, if you're watching the video version of this podcast, thank you so very much. We love y'all for sure. And also, if you are listening to us on any audio platform, we thank you guys so very much. We love y'all. And we hope that you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. Until then, we'll see you guys in the next podcast episode. I'm your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas, saying logging out, stay safe, stay swanky.
Go, what's going on in Hot Atlanta? Live from Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6. Brings back the hottest hip-hop radio show live from K.L.P. Entertainment and K.L.P. Studios. It's K.L.P. Aftermath Morning with your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas.